Hey everybody, my name is Miss Aiken and I am one of the ninth and 11th grade counselors. And I wanted to take a minute to go over the course selection information for our current ninth graders that are going to be 10th graders next year. So first of all the information that students need and parents need can be found on our Hoover High School website. So if you go to our website and you click right here where it says Hoover High School 25-26 course selection, this page will have everything that the students need to help pick their classes for next year. So, of course, over here on the left, the student would click on, or the parent, Rising Sophomores, class of 2028. So here you will find a course description guide. So in this course description guide, it has every class that we offer. It has diploma requirements, graduation requirements, has counselors' names. It is full of information. I encourage you to take a minute to see everything that can be found in this course description guide. One of the main things that it can be helpful for is to look at the courses that we offer here at Hoover High School and to get more information. For example, let's say a student was interested in an academy at RC3 but couldn't decide between the two and they wanted to learn more about the Cyber Innovation Academy. They could go right here to the table of contents and click on Cyber Innovation Academy. And this would take them to the first year classes. So these ninth graders are going to be 10th graders, so they're first year RC3 students. So it would show them the two classes, IT Fundamentals and Foundations of Operating Systems. And right here, IT Fundamentals would tell them what the course entails and what it's going to be about. And they could also see the same for Foundations of Operating Systems. Okay, so this course description guide is very helpful, so I encourage parents and students to use this. Another thing that can be found here is the sophomore course selection sheet. So let's take a minute to look at that. If you click right here, it's going to come up what their course selection sheet looks like, but I wanted to show you a sample of a completed course selection sheet. So the student would fill out the top part very neatly, and then they would put a check after talking to their parents and their teachers of the classes that are best for them next school year. So this student, for sample, is going to be going to RC3. So they're going to add RC3 next to English 10, check that. U.S. History 10 if they're taking regular history, algebra, and physical science. I want to point out a few things. If a student is interested in dual enrollment history, that's right here where it says U.S. History 1 and 2, they would go to our course selection website. And right here, if you click on dual enrollment application process, it has all the information required for dual enrollment. So of course, dual enrollment means a student is taking a class here at high school that is a college level class. Our history classes are currently taught by a teacher here at Hoover, but of course it's through Jeff State. All right, and this is the information needed. There's no test that's required, but we do recommend students to be able to take notes and study hard on their test because it is a college level class. Students have to complete an online application by March 14th at the Jefferson State Community College website, and that link should take the student there. Please read over every single thing about this, and if you see number 1, it says complete the dual enrollment application by March 14th, and number 2 says students will access and complete the additional course approval form that will be on the Jefferson State Dual Enrollment website, but it's not going to be available until February the 7th. So students will need to go back and make sure they complete that paperwork. And again, History 201 and History 202 the History 201 counts for 10th grade history classes, and History 202 counts for 11th grade history. Those are also two courses that would give college credit, 3 credits of college credit for each class. So that's just some basic information about dual enrollment. You can also click right here and watch the dual enrollment video if you have more specific questions to see if dual enrollment is a good fit for you or for your student. So back to the course selection sheet. So students are going to choose their English, history, math, and science. Students notice that if it has a star, that means there's a prerequisite to that class. For example, a student cannot take chemistry unless they have already had Algebra 1 or the accelerated math in 7th and 8th grade. So just pay attention to that. And again, just like in 9th grade, if you're doing pre-IB English, you also have to do the pre-IB history. And I really, really encourage students to talk to their math teachers about what is the best math class for them based on their current performance in math this school year. So step 2, students are going to decide if they're going to be here a regular day, 1st through 8th period, or a 0 period, which is 0 through 7th. And if they're taking more than just the 4 core classes at the top and 3 electives, that's 7 classes, if they're taking more than that, they would want to select that they're going to take 8 classes, and we will talk with them individually when we meet with students. They're going to choose their crew, and if they are doing RC3, they're going to decide if they want to do the morning or afternoon. We cannot always honor that, but if they do a sport, it's good to list that so that we know about that. So virtual class. If a student wants to take a virtual class, that means that is one less class that they are in this building for. For example, if a student wants to take like virtual health and virtual driver's ed, that means they only have to pick 2 other electives, and they're not going to be here that period. Or it opens up time for them to take an additional elective if they take a virtual elective. But if they don't want to be on campus, for example, if they want to come in late or leave early for a virtual class, they would mark, I want my virtual class in the morning or in the afternoon. So we know to leave that spot open in the morning or in the afternoon. That's the purpose of doing that. Step 3, health is an elective that's required for graduation. So most 10th graders take health and driver's ed. And so students can check that. If they didn't want to do health and driver's ed, let's say they wanted to do health and 2D design, they could pick that. And they would put their little checks there. But notice, students get 3 electives. So I know it's a little confusing, but health and driver's ed counts as one elective. So elective number 1, go ahead and write that in if the student is planning on doing that. So see where it says health and driver's ed? They're semester classes. So one will be in the fall, one will be in the spring. Okay. Then elective 2, let the student plays baseball. So we're going to put baseball down. If you're in a band or a sport, and you currently are on that band or in that organization, you would list that. That's an elective that you get credit for. And then elective 3 is another elective. So this person, for the example, chose accounting. And then they chose an alternate. Maybe accounting is full, so they would be okay with marketing principles. I have another sample for you right here where it says or. If a student is doing RC3, if you notice on our course selection sheet right here, it says sophomore electives. So if you click right there, these are all the electives that our sophomores can take. Right here in the middle, if a student is going to RC3, they need to write in 2 electives. They're going to take one in the fall and one in the spring. So their course selection sheet, where it says or, they would write Intro to Public Safety, and then they would write firefighting. That counts as 2 electives. So again, back to the elective sheet. See, one is in the fall. Here's Intro to Public Safety, and then the spring is firefighting. They have to put both. And then back to our sample, then they have room for one other elective, and the sample student is going to do health and driver's ed. So those are their 3 electives, and that's all they have room for. I also wanted to encourage you, if you look at the bottom, students can they can scan this QR code, parents you can, and it'll take you to this site right here that I showed you that has all this information on it. I want to remind you to talk to your current teachers about your classes. We're going to meet with students individually. First of all, I probably, if I don't think I have it up, but this Friday, February the 7th, the counselors are going to be in the lunchroom, and on February the 10th and February the 11th, and we're going to be meeting with students individually about their courses. So we put this timeline on students' on their Google Classroom that talks about all the details. So please encourage your student to look at Google Classroom to see the dates. But we're going to be in the lunchroom, so we would encourage students to please stop and ask us questions if they're confused about how to fill this out. Actually, I do want to try to pull up that course selection timeline. See it right now. So I guess I'll come back to that. I'm sorry about that. This Friday, April the 7th, the portal opens. So students will use the directions that can be found on the course selection guide right here, how to enter your request in PowerSchool, to enter their request. And it should be on, they have received 2 pieces of paper last week during our course selection meeting. And the backside has our electives, and it also has the directions on how to enter this in PowerSchool. On the back of their course selection sheet is also a 4-year plan. So we encourage students to fill out their 4-year plan. What are they planning on doing each year? Just to the best of your ability. It's a great time to sit down with your child and talk about those things. 2 things I want to show you on this page. If a student is doing RC3, they must do the application. So they would need to go right here to the RC3 application, and they have to complete this online application. This is required. So students, make sure you do this. Parents, make sure your student does this. We talked about the dual enrollment videos. There's RC3 electives here. I also want to make sure that you understand what it means to be college and career ready. Of course, students will have to meet the requirements for graduation, and that can be found on in the course description guide that I showed you earlier. I think it's right at the beginning. Yes, right here. This goes over the requirements for graduation in the state of Alabama, and it hasn't changed. But what has changed is students have to have a College and Career Readiness Indicator, a CCRI. This tab right here, Become College and Career Ready, it tells students exactly how they can become college or career ready. They have to have one of these by the time they graduate. So I would encourage you to look over these. There's actually a video that explains this in detail. Let me show you where that video is. If you go to Course Selection Help, right here, you can watch this video on Alabama graduation requirements, and it has all kinds of resources here as well. So I encourage you to take a minute to look at that Alabama graduation requirements video. It's a short video that it goes over in detail the college and career readiness indicators that students have to have by the time they graduate. All right, I think that's everything. I hope this helps clear things up a little bit. Again, we're going to be in the lunchroom this Friday, February the 7th. We're going to be there next Monday and Tuesday. And then starting February the 18th, counselors, we are going to meet individually with every student on our caseload to go over their courses, to make sure they entered them in PowerSchool, and to answer any questions that they have, make sure they're on track. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you found this video helpful. And parents, if you still have questions, please reach out to your counselor, your student's counselor, and if needed, they can make an appointment to meet with you in April if you still have questions. Because at this time, we're meeting with students in the lunchroom, and then we're going to start meeting with them individually, so we're unable to have those individual meetings at the moment. But if you still have questions after watching this video, your student seeing us, your student meeting with us, then please reach out, and we are happy to help. Thank you so much. And again, I hope that this was helpful.